You're official.
Okay, well, welcome, it's February 19th to the Town of Columbia Financial Planning and Allocation Commission regular meeting. This is a hybrid public meeting. The public can attend in person or electronically. The information provided in this agenda contains a link to the access the meeting electronically. The public may view the video recording of the meeting on YouTube at Town of Columbia, Connecticut. Please allow approximately 48 business hours after the meeting for the video to be published. For public input before the meeting, please email your comments to publicinput@columbiaact.org. ColumbiaCT.org, yeah. Okay, prior to 24 hours before the meeting. Rules of conduct. This is a web-based call, so we are opening under the following procedures. This session is being both video and audio recorded. Commissioners and staff will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting, and will generally be keeping the video of themselves on throughout the meeting. If a member of the public creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of staff or the chair. For public input before the meeting, please email your comments to publicinput@columbiact.org within 24 hours of the meeting. So we'll call it to order at James. Yep. You moved it. All right, we'll call the order what?
7:01.
7:01. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation with liberty and justice for all. Audience of citizens. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on. Boom.
There's someone in the chat?
No,
Oh.
no one in the chat, no one dying to get in.
No, got the mod, so we moved on. Okay, number 5.1, approval of the minutes.
Move we approve the minutes as submitted.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none? Passes. Correspondence. Board of Selectmen, any? Go.
I just would like to reiterate what Stephen Everett said in the Board of Selectmen meeting with respect to congratulating Bill Bright on his nomination to the Connecticut Supreme Court, and that's really important for us to recognize native son of Columbia
Yeah, okay. Very nice. Very nice.
and an outstanding judge and lawyer.
I've known him for about 35 years and he's very outstanding.
Please.
Okay.
For the record.
No, very nice, very nice. Anybody else with any questions, comments, or? No, hearing none, we'll move on. Old business, update on the quarter HVAC project.
It's underway, we signed a contract with Save More. And had our first kickoff meeting with the building committee, the project manager. And both the Save More representative of the project and also our, commissioning agent. So we met our commissioning agent, which will be responsible for making sure the equipment does what it's supposed to do and the load level, humidity and everything works in the entire school. So it's a big responsibility to make sure our multi-million dollar project actually does what the architects have designed. And the electrical equipment is on order, almost all of it. A little more, we'll find out soon. We had to pre-order, we had to get that in the works because the supply chain on electrical equipment is still a problem. And right now, the kickoff for manufacturing inside the school is March 24th. So while the kids are in session, all construction will be done from 3:30 to midnight. And when the kids are out of session, the vacation or summer, it'll be normal for shift. And right now, they're coordinating where the workers will park and where the containers will be for holding supplies. And they seemed all optimistic that we can get this done by December 31st.
Very good. Okay.
Nice.
And that is a sort of a firm deadline that we need to meet for the grant purposes.
Right. I have talked to other towns and the state has given extensions if you're considerably done or.
I think definitely in the construction mode, preferably more towards the end of construction, so they are
Giving
going
a hard
to give
percentage or saying.
They said
they didn't give,
it was a word, not considerably done, but
they wanna see progress.
Substantially.
substantially done.
They wanna see some
Substantially done.
substantial progress, whatever,
Yeah.
commitment
So
to getting it done.
probably about 70% of the way. You know?
So
Coventry just got an extension. Talked to their.
they seem to be willing, when I spoke to them months ago, that more than likely there will be because everybody's getting it, so it's just simple form to fill out, so. Get my fingers crossed you're on it.
Yeah. Right. And they don't want that. You know, anyway.
No, we wanna make sure we get
Okay, 9.2, update on financing, bonding.
So the next item we had, and this is YouTube recorded, I recommend you all watch. We had a meeting with our bond counsel, Mike Patello, from Upland Kelly, and our municipal advisor, Bill Lindsay. From Unistat. So we went over short-term financing and bonding timeframes. And we also talked about 3 other projects you'll hear about during the budget process after we get done with Board of Selectmen, but that is the Pine Street culvert, Thompson Hill culvert, and Doubleday drainage and road reconstruction. So we were able to, so far, we got a state grant on Pine Street, which was a estimated $1,700,000 project, so state will be helping us with 890,000 and we'll be on the hole for 890,000 on Pine Street. And Thompson Hill, we've applied for a CRIP grant through our Connecticut Regional Council of Governments. There are only 8 towns that could apply for the grant based on who's gotten the grant and it's designed for rural towns. That grant will pay 80/20. So Thompson Hill is estimated without going out to bid right now at 1.8 million. So if we get that grant, the state will cover $1.4 million and we'd be on the hook for 360,000. So those 2 are in the works. We're optimistic on the TRIP grant. That's all submitted.
So basically, between things, we would just be basically close to $1 million for
Right.
everything.
On those 2. Doubleday had a rough estimate of 5 million. We've asked Kathy Austin for some help if she could get an earmark through the state for Doubleday, because it's such a huge project for such a small town. And we're waiting to see the budget process on that. Also, we were not ready this year, but if we do not get any help, we could try to get a steep grant on Doubleday the following year. But all 3 of those projects are set to go out for bid and design. What is
First
it?
2 are in the spring, next spring.
Spring, and then we're hoping that everything could be completed by the end of next year and be able to bond in one bond offering. We're not positive that timing will work out, but that's the goal right now.
So you're probably looking at a bond of around $2 million to take care of all that.
No, but then you have to throw in the,
HVAC.
Well, yeah, I know, but just the road work.
no,
Depends on what
but
we
it
can
depends
get.
on Doubleday. Doubleday's 5 million and you got, so you got 6 million on my side
And
and
1.25 on the other.
5 million. school side, 5.5 million.
So we're
So
probably about
maybe a
10,
little
10, 11.
So-
I was like 900, like 1.3. To try to keep the roads.
Right, so it's, we were heading for some challenging times.
Okay.
What would the steep grant do? If we ended up coming to that?
The most we would get would be the max, which is 1 million.
Right, they upped Steve used to always be maximum 500,000, they upped it to 1 million, but they capped it at 30 million for the entire state, so it'll be very competitive.
The earmark is though unknown, what you'll.
Right, the earmark is on,
But I think because the earmark, we can't do a steep.
right,
Yeah.
Well,
so there's a lot in the, I'm trying to get money wherever I can.
What are the odds Kathy Austin is gonna be able to take care of?
She came through with the forestry vehicle
for the fire department.
for the fire department. Now, we're
Yeah,
not
I
as,
think the odds are good, but it's supposedly a tight budget year, so.
right, I don't know what this budget year will bring, this is, everything's up in the air.
But it also depends on how much unspent bonding money, if she can. Earmark it,
Right.
she'll earmark it out of bonding, and so. But
Just get that approved too.
Right.
I just say, oh.
But those earmarks all go last 2 days of this, yeah, go and then you can go.
In the
Right.
implementer, let's make a deal. Bill.
Yes.
So Mark, man, was there any discussion about what we should do in terms of our financial hygiene to be in the best position to get the best rates?
Yes, so we have to get back on track with creating our financial policies, because that's a big part of the scoring. And
We have a draft on.
we have an audit that we're about to see,
What I was working on for you guys.
so you have
No.
a preliminary,
No, giving them more information.
okay, so we're optimistic, we'll have a good audit. And we're optimistic we can get our financial policies in order in a relatively.
Right, I wanted to put that on the agenda, but I didn't tell you. In fact, if I can just insert quickly an update.
Since I asked.
Since you asked, exactly. And I didn't tell her. So the committee has been meeting since September, only I'd be surprised how difficult it is to coordinate the schedules with 3 people. Doesn't seem like it should be so hard, but, and so we have a draft of, the needed policies, the items that have to be addressed, and we've added to it since the one I distributed to this group in November. And so it's going through review now, Bev and Mark are looking at it and getting overview of input from our advisors, and then it'll come back here for final. So,
And is it adopted by this committee and the board of selectmen, or who needs to approve these statements, these policies?
we've been discussing this. We approved it and sent it to them.
Right, we would approve it and then send it. to the
I would
board.
think you recommend these policies to the board of selectmen.
Okay. Yeah.
Adopt them
Right, so as our subcommittee would have to bring it obviously.
to bypass.
Bypass.
And then we forward, that's,
And is among the things that are going to be in that policy, anything related to how much we should keep in the rainy day fund, is that?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what's
Yes, that'll be
the,
part of it.
Yes.
what's the current thinking that we should be keeping, what percentage?
13 to 17.
16 to 18,
13
13 to 17.
13 to 17, so.
13 to 17%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's-
Something like that.
sounds like 13 plus or minus.
And works for me. Okay,
So a lot of good work behind the scenes, just trying to pull together best. Keep our long-term infrastructure from washing out and our school in line with air quality requirements.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? No? Conversation, debates? No? All right, moving on to new business. Election of officer. Says officers, but we're gonna elect one officer. As most of you know, I'm gonna be leaving town. So I feel that it's appropriate that I step down before I actually leave town and let somebody move forward to take this position with budgets coming so that the Bev and Mark and Jennifer can learn to work with whomever's next. So,
When are you leaving?
the house that I'm in Columbia will probably sell end of this month, middle the next month.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, I'm obviously here, I'll be here next month. But I'll be out there to let somebody else start running this and see what's going on.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really did.
Appreciate all you've done.
One of these years, I'll actually figure out how to do it.
You come back and practice learning more.
Well, that's it. To everybody here, you've been a great team. It's been a real pleasure, serving in this position with all of you and, getting to know you, Dick. I know, years ago, we started off kind of button heads all the time, and it's really true that we lose our party affiliations and we start to look at it as the town.
I think it's healthy to disagree. And to butt heads. And I think you're right, one of the things I've always, and I've said this to multiple people all over the place is. When you come into a committee like this committee. You don't look at what party they belong to. You look at, people come in to solve problems. And do the best they can to serve Columbia residents, so. I'm gonna miss you personally.
Thank you. All right, we need
Can
it.
I ask a question before we move on with the elections?
Sure.
So, you're leaving a vacancy.
Wait, so the Republicans will have the first
They will appoint.
draft.
They-
We'll have so many days.
CC will nominate someone.
Yeah.
Just
The
when
seat.
he
Yes,
resigns his
I've
seat
been in touch with
entirely.
the RTC, they know what's going on, so everything's gonna go pump, pump, pump. The day I walk away, there'll be somebody warming my seat almost
Yeah.
immediately.
Right, I thought.
Yeah, during budget season, you
Record
don't
it,
wanna be
so-
without.
Right, exactly. Actually, it was, he wasn't gonna move,
Yeah,
but then he saw the mill rate.
Yeah,
He
it's-
said, "What's up?"
That's why I want to say, he's abandoning shit. Going to the budget season.
He's going to the wrong town.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm going to the wrong town for that.
Well, that's true, they were fighting tooth and.
Right, well, he's gonna have a volunteer for budget committee and he's
Well,
like.
listen, at least I'm not the one they're gonna wanna hang out there in effigy and see the mill rates going up and down.
Exactly, well, exactly.
We'll give it
That's
to
our
somebody else.
We won't be able to call it the Jeff Vines mill rate.
Late in the town.
That's right.
Always.
Mark Walters mill rate. All in favor?
He held it for 9 years and then wham.
All right, we need a motion and discussion on who would like to take my position.
You need a nomination.
What's that?
You need a nomination.
Well, I said nomination and a discussion, didn't I?
I nominate Judy. And she's vice chair, and I think it's time for her to become chair.
Well, isn't the chairperson the majority party though? It's on the,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's in the. Yeah, I wasn't.
I don't know if that's a rule.
No, that's not a rule.
No,
Not a rule,
no,
it's just typical.
it's not.
I mean, it's,
Normally, yes. Normally, the majority party can win in an election if they all vote together.
Vernon
That's
Shaw
what-
was the chair for
Right, that's right.
like 15, 20 years.
True.
and
I know.
He was often in,
He wasn't
the
always part of the majority.
Yeah.
Well, not to throw a monkey wrench into it, but I was going to nominate Kelly.
Well, then all you have to do is. not
Decline.
accept. There you go.
I decline the nomination, but I appreciate your vote of confidence. But I think perhaps somebody who has quite a bit more experience with this than I should. I'll take another role model until I pick my step up for my turn.
Would you like to make the nomination then?
Yes, I nominate Kelly Peck to serve
I'll
as chair.
second that.
Thank you.
All in favor? Yeah.
Say
I
aye.
believe the ayes have it. I wasn't watching James. Where'd you go with that?
He voted.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. All right, then, unanimous. It's gonna be your fault. Okay, that transfers.
Transfer, we have two transfers, they were presented last night from the board. For the Lions Club, last year, after the budget process was done, they had asked for an extra $2,500, it was given to continue. For that again, plus an additional $1,500, so they want a total allocation this year from the town of $10,000. So, the board of selectmen approved last night that the money would come from contingency.
So to clarify, Bev, they already have 6, so they need 4 more.
Yeah. Yep.
And they'd like in this budget to continue the 10,000,
So if you.
but they're always one budget behind because it hits
I
July.
tried to tell them, okay, we gotta get this.
We gotta get this moving early.
So-
That's fine.
So that was what I said. The other one is called a transfer, but it's also gonna be contingent upon what Eastern Highland Health District's recommendation is on this project. There is some issues with a potential health hazard, which involves possibly E. coli and phosphates going into the lake and the watershed area. They would like a study done. There's kind of like a small synopsis on the next page. So Lake Management Advisories asked for $6,800 to do this, funding to identify where this health hazard, or the source of the health hazard is, or potential health hazard. But Mark is also working with Eastern Highland Health to see if it has some other recommendations versus paying.
I wanna make sure they agree
They
that this
agree,
is the way to analyze this.
so they're asking for the $6,800, we figure let's be proactive and get everything approved ahead of time, and then if Eastern Highland says, you better do this study, we can move forward with that. And put this off before, the lake season opens and we have more of an issue, so. So we're asking for $6,800 from contingency as well. Which, before anybody asks, that'll probably bring down the contingency balance between these two down to about $40,000.
Wow.
Okay.
What was it, 41 this
It was like 40, I
Oh, was that?
think it was at that high, but
Okay.
All right, any questions?
We're not overly concerned that it's down to 40. We almost never
We don't.
tap
usually-
all of it, so that's okay, right? I mean, we're not.
yeah, I mean, if
We're
we
not-
go to 0, it's okay too, because things have come up throughout the year. I mean, there are probably gonna be some more during the year, but we also have within the budget lines too, we'll be doing some shifting too, so. So we're still in good shape,
Okay.
considering we're almost in March, so.
Bev and I will be working on some creative shifts of supply lines to try to
Yeah, big
get some
sale.
projects out of this next budget.
We're
into-
doing creative stuff
Yeah.
right now.
I move that we accept the transfers as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next meeting, March 19th.
That'll be budget allocation then.
The budget presentation.
Yep,
First to the Board of Ed.
they'll be both that night.
Okay.
So that'll be a big meeting because, they'll be approving their budgets the first week of March in about less than 2 weeks. And then it gives me a little over a week to kind of pull all the documents together and get them all out to you, like, I think within the week, by that Friday before I'll be able to email to everybody, so.
And then we'll go into the weekly meetings from that, so the following week will be the next meeting.
The 26th, and I had a calendar somewhere. Yeah, so that'll be weekly, and then, I think the public hearing is the 23rd. So definitely we'll be doing weekly meetings, depending on if we need it,
April
or
23rd or?
April 23rd. Yeah, so it'll be weekly, I think, weekly weekly until. Oh yeah, there's no FiPAC meeting in April because it's after the public hearing, so it's gonna be weekly up until the beginning of April. Unless we need another one, then we just schedule another one. Okay.
Geez, I might be here.
You could just be a participant, making faces.
I know.
Well, you can bring the donuts and coffee.
I can bring it back.
Yeah.
All right,
And the thumbs.
okay. Next motion, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
And Jen, for the record, it is 7:25.
Nicely done.
Good job.
Quick to be done.